No surprise, Powell stood pat, but of course moved the dot plot by 50 basis points. How much of a surprise was that?
That was a surprise. The market was pricing maybe one more hike at best, and they went out of their way to put in two. And the reason it was a surprise, Hasnanda, is because a lot of clients, we had that, by the way, we had that call. I think we were the only ones having that call. And a lot of clients felt that if the Fed was willing to surprise markets to the upside, if they were that worried about inflation, then why stand pat? Honestly, if you had not had that speech by Vice Chair Jefferson 2 Wednesdays ago, right before the blackout period, if that had not happened, I think the Fed would have gone today.
How many more hikes do you think? I mean, markets expecting one, Fed suggesting two. Might we see an even more hawkish Fed?
I think it is not out of the question. I was watching your program earlier and noticed there's been a bunch of central banks who thought they were done only to come back and say, oops, we are not really done. The RBA is one, the Bank of Canada, the Swiss National Bank, the United Kingdom had a horrible inflation print. I mean, yesterday you saw it was the gilt market moving everything, not the US bond market. I don't think the Fed can rest easy at all. They just pushed up their core inflation forecast for the end of this year by 30 basis points. It is not out of the question. We think they'll do two more, but if you said is more than two completely out of the question, no, it is not.
Ajay, are they doing the right thing? I mean, pause is a good idea. Just take stock of what's happening. But, there is the danger they'll make a mistake here. And I think Charles Evans, the former Fed president of the Chicago Fed, saying everything boils down in an interview he said recently to one question. What kind of policy mistake are you most comfortable making?
Right. And it depends to some extent, Rish, on how you define a mistake. Say they do make a mistake. Say the unemployment rate rises by 120 basis points, okay, which is the peak for most people. That would put the jobless rate still below 5%. From a historical standpoint, that is very, very, very low. Meanwhile, starting from 2021, that inflation models have blown them out of the water. They've been wrong and then more wrong and then wrong some more. And they can't, 2021, for example, you can't blame the Russia-Ukraine war, right? I mean, they do not have confidence in their models. That is why they are turning to focusing on current data. And current data says they should keep going.